What's up, everybody, and welcome to the After Twitch podcast, the Dadbot Talks, or Just Chatting podcast. Wanted to make this quick video to just highlight our first comeback stream, and I will be doing more of these in the future, but I thought I would do a nice little intro video to kind of explain what was happening. We just moved to Germany, and I wanted to sort of catch everybody up on what was going on, a little bit about me, catch up a little bit about military life and me becoming a dad as well in there, and just a little bit about what we will be doing in the future as well. So I hope you enjoy the video. Thinking about it, 11 years ago this month, I think yesterday, I graduated high school. Yeah. and then 7 years ago, I graduated college. Oh my gosh, that hurts my brain thinking about. Like, I survived, but that's only because it's surprising. The majority of people who are here actually do know a lot more English than we give credit. Most people here know 2 languages as like a default, and especially if you're in the Netherlands area, like they basically have a lot more English speakers than you'd expect, which I'm kind of excited for, because the Netherlands movie theaters, they have English speaking theaters a lot more too as well. It'd be I think I know this one. It's like that essentially. It's weird that we have that we call it Germany, but they don't call it Germany. They call it Deutschland. And it's like, why do we call it Germany? I don't understand the like, cuz it's like it's not cuz they don't say Germany and they say Deutschland. It's weird. And there's a couple that I don't think it's the only country that does that either. Like, imagine if we called like the United States of America just like, for like we would not even shorten it. We'd just be like, oh yeah, we call it Corntown. Welcome to Corntown. Yeah, Corntown. Because World War II. Yeah, I don't know. See, I haven't been in school in a long time. All they tell us in school is that World War II, we won, and then that's not actually true. Like, in reality, like, it was Russia that helped us win, I believe. I don't know. Don't check me on that. Don't quote me on that. Like I said, I haven't been in school in a long time. Yeah, I wouldn't trust my knowledge on most things, to be honest. You have an octopi? Yeah, I do. I only have actually. You know what? I do have octopi because my son has my other one, so it's my happy. And then, hold on. I think it's more angry. I think there's ones that have like sad as the opposite, but I like the angry as the opposite. I think that's a cool one. He's happy right now. But yeah, I did move to Germany, so I am living and am in Germany. I've done a little bit of traveling. Yeah, so yes, I am in Germany. So now, basically, we went on a flight beginning of February, and we moved into this house beginning of March, and I guess we've actually been here for 2 months now, and we're still unpacking, in all honesty, because we had so much stuff that we had just to put away, and then so much stuff that we left behind. I feel like you should do a stream where you should show your IRL shaving your beard stream. I would love to do that. If I could grow out a beard and then shave it, that like a beard like I used to have, that'd be great. If you need me to show you how to shave, that's part of me being a dad as well. I can teach you how to shave. That's something that's within my realm of understanding. I have to shave normally like twice a day if like, because being in the military, you have to, regulations, but you can typically, if you have a waiver, you can like take a little bit more time. I do have a waiver, so I can spend a little bit more time growing a beard, but because like this is like I shaved this morning, and it's already like sandpaper. Little sounds, kind of. I think the move to here was, it was really good. Like it was like the process of getting here over playing like during COVID, it actually ended up being not too bad of a process. I think the hard part about it was just it was doing the test right before the flight and then doing the test during the flight to get overseas, getting tested twice. I've never been tested before because I'm in the medical field and I'm also vaccinated, so I never had to deal with it. I got tested twice in like within 48 hours. I was tested twice, and it was like in the middle of my flight. Got the PS5. I really want to get the PS5, but I think I want to wait, and I think the reasoning behind it isn't because I don't want it right. Like I do want it, I just don't want it right now. I think the hard part about if I were to get a PS5 right now is that I wouldn't use it a whole bunch, mainly because right now there's not a whole lot of games for it, at least as far as I recollect. Now there are some great games that were made optimized for the new current consoles, but I think I want to wait. I want to wait for probably God of War, maybe the next Horizon Zero Dawn game. I think that'd be a great addition, and then I'll probably get the console. We are waiting because it's out of stock right now, and it's 5 times the price it should. You know, I've seen that as well, and I recommend you do this as well if you see it online, because you know what, scalpers are the worst. And they're ruining Pokemon cards, and they're ruining consoles and graphics cards as well. They're buying them all up and selling them up all on Facebook Marketplace. So if you see those things on Facebook Marketplace, report them as like no intent to sell, because they're just scalping the entire market and then just quadrupling or septupling the price. I don't even know the number for like the amount of times they're selling it over value, and that's just wrong in my opinion. It's like you see people like outside of like an arena buying tickets and then selling them back, and like you almost feel like that's okay, because it's like really like who's it hurting other than, you know, like because they're selling tickets past the normal time that when they sell them. Maybe it's just hurting, you know, your wallet a bit, but it's maybe the artist ultimately maybe feels less bad because they're making a lot of money. Listen, that's exactly what I want. I want to stay here. I want to stay here a little bit longer, and that way all my friends can come over. Like we moved here from Texas expecting our place to be really small, because that's what everyone tells you. Places are probably going to be really small, you know, downsize. We get here, I have a 4-story house. Now, granted, it's an upstairs sort of attic space and a downstairs basement, but the basement itself has 2 rooms and a laundry room. The attic space has my entire office, which is pretty big. It's bigger than my office back in Texas. And I have storage space literally lining this entire room. So it's massive. So I'm like, let's make the downstairs a guest room, and the upstairs it's just this massive office. I think the only downside to this place is the lack of the lack of sockets. I have like 3 sockets in this room. Why did I move to Germany? I moved to Germany because of military. So I basically found out end of last year. I was sort of streaming a little bit less, but I was still streaming, and I found out last year that I was gonna be moving. But they never told us where. They were telling us like, hey, you're gonna be moving soon, but we just don't know when it's gonna happen. And because of COVID, everything was delayed, so we didn't know when it was gonna happen. And so ultimately, Jack, it was because I finally got my orders. And the military goes, hey, where do you want to go? And so they gave me a list of places stateside that I could go. And I was like, hey, I just got an email saying I'm going to Germany. And they're like, oh, let us check that out. And so they confirmed my orders, and they're like, yeah, you're going to Germany. And I was like, where is this at? And they're like, oh yeah, it's just a little small rural town in Germany, and you're going to be working with the NATO. And I was like, okay. So I kind of accepted that at that point. There, I will read this Cards Against Humanity card though, right as you leave. I hope that's okay. So Jack drew this earlier, and we're going to read it right now. So this is the Cards Against Humanity draw that he drew. So this is: when Pharaoh remained unmoved, Moses called down a plague of, here we go, Harry Potter erotica. That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one to start it out. I like that. There was a shirt that I think there's a shirt out there that it says don't waste your time on me, you're already a voice in my head, but all in Tom DeLonge's like accented heavily voice. So it's like, don't waste your time on me. It is pretty on point. Okay, so you're in the military. Yes. So go back to 5 years ago now. Wow. Actually 5 years ago. I joined the military, and I initially joined with the intention of going into a journalism field. I wanted to go into radio, and I wanted to go into like broadcast journalism. I felt like it was suited for me, but it wasn't suited for that. It wasn't what they were looking for. So I kind of cried a lot, and then done. But I scored really high in the test, and because of that, I got in a pretty high medical field of my choice. And really, it was actually a lot of luck, because I got my slot into the military. Because you don't just go, hey, I want to go to the military. You score a test and you go like, all right, let's go in. They have to wait till basically either someone leaves, or if there's an open available slot, you take that position. At the time, there was no available positions. So you start in a program called the DET program, which is delayed entry. So you're going to be sitting in that delayed entry program, waiting for your slot to open up. It's right before my son was born. It was like mid-January. I find out that slot opened up, and the reasoning behind it is some guy like broke his arm right before leaving. This happens a lot. A lot of people do a lot of dumb stuff when they're finding out to join the military, and so because of that, I ended up taking a slot, joined the military, and I had a dedicated job field of a medical field, and I was working in a laboratory within that next year. So I worked in a medical laboratory field, and he was born in February. So January is when I found out I found out I was going to be joining. I left in February, and my son was born while I was in basic training. So I was like sitting there, shaved head, uniform, all serious, and then I became just, instead of being sad, I became Sadddad. So it's like right there. And like I have the photo. It's somewhere on my Facebook, but it's like I met my son my first time at my graduation, and I'm just holding him. He's like this tiny little thing, and I don't even know how to hold like babies properly. So that's when I met my son for the first time. Optical illusion streams. Optical illusions are probably my favorite to like waste time on. There's a museum, there's an art museum, I can't remember where. It was somewhere in Florida, and it was based off the painter who does the it was from the painter who does like those melting clocks. What's his name? Salvador Dali. And they did like a whole thing because it's sort of like, you know, making your mind think a little bit deeper than you think on the surface. And they have a whole museum that's sort of like dedicated to like the art of optical illusions, and like making you rethink, you know, like where things are. I think that'd be dope. Like just doing a whole stream of watching optical illusions and like tricking our brains. I'm gonna have to write that down, actually. I think that'll be a dope thing to do in the future. All right, I'm really quick. I'm going to grab a tissue, and I will be right back. And we'll continue the chats. Love your faces.